Rene Perez, better known as Residente. He is the lead singer and songwriter of Calle 13. Welcome to Democracy Now!
Thank you.
It's great to have you with us. You're here in New York recording a new album.
Yeah, I'm recording a new album with my brother. And I just got here. It's super cold for me. But it's nice. You know, I'm still writing and doing this kind of songs. And we make fusion. You know, our music is like, this song is going to be different from all the other songs, but we talk about different situations, the things that surround us, you know, political things, religion, sexual things, party, everything. Yeah.
Talk about the making of Multiviral with Julian Assange. How did this happen?
Well, it was a little bit difficult to get there at first, but at the end we did it, and I met him, and he was a very cool guy, you know, like a nice guy. You know, because before I met him, I read the press, and they were saying that he was like arrogant, or I don't know, but he was a nice guy, and he was very open to work with us. So we start working at the embassy, asking the people to, you know, asking questions to the people, and we start using those answers to write the song. At the end, I gave them like an email, and they send us like words, and I use those words as a puzzle to construct the song. So it's like, you know, it's at the end, it's like the voices of the people, you know, the lyrics. So that's why the song also is for free, you know, because it's for the people. And, yeah.
Well, you've had really an amazing rise in terms of your group and popularity in a very short time, but you began from the very beginning with very political songs. So talk a little bit about why you felt the need to have so much politics in your lyrics.
Well, it's pretty easy to you know, I'm surrounded by politics. First of all, I come from Puerto Rico, and we are a colony of the U.S., so it's easy to be into politics. Like, we are right away into politics because we are a colony. So, yeah, our first song was called Querido FBI, Dear FBI, and it's about the killing of Filiberto Ojeda Rios. That, you know, I thought it was so wrong and unjust, and I just wrote it. But the key for our group and the strategy was we mixed, like we did Atrévete, that it's like a fun song, and then we did Querido FBI. So it's we have a balance. That way the people doesn't put us in a place or, oh, this all the time is about politics, and, you know. So that way we can balance the whole thing, and people who doesn't listen to social songs, they are into that, you know.
Now you call yourself Residente and your brother Visitante. Could you talk about how those titles, how you came to adopt those titles, and for people who don't know what life is like in Puerto Rico, how that arose?
Yeah, well, at first it started out as a joke. We were joking, and we didn't thought that Calle 13 was going to be big. And that's, you know, we used to live in the Calle 13, it's Street 13th Street, and every time that we wanted to go inside the neighborhood, we had to say our name, like Residente Calle 13 or Visitante Calle 13.
And that's because of the crime level. There's so many gated communities in Puerto Rico. Basically, with security guards, you have to be let in and out. Right?
Yeah, they were robbing and assaulting a lot at that time. So yeah, we had to say our names. Like.
So you were the Residente, and he was the visitor, the Visitante.
Yeah, because he used to, like, he's my brother, but we are like from divorced family, so he used to come and visit every weekend, so that's why he's the Visitante.
I wanted to go back to Filiberto Rios, the leading figure for the fight for Puerto Rican independence and against U.S. colonial rule, wanted by the FBI for his role in 1983 bank heist. And in 2005, in Puerto Rico, he was killed by the FBI in a shooting after agents surrounded the house where he was staying. According to the autopsy, Filiberto Rios bled to death after being hit with a single bullet. Officials didn't enter his home until many hours after he was shot. He was 72 years old. He'd founded the Armed Revolutionary Independence Movement, later a key organizer in the FALN, the Armed Forces of National Liberation. Can you talk about why that inspired you so much? This was really your breakout song. You just cut a first album, right? And then you just put this online.
But you're talking about the Dear FBI or?
Dear FBI.
Yeah. Well, at that time, yeah, I was sad of the whole thing, and because also the day that the FBI chose to kill Filiberto was the only day that we celebrate as our freedom, because we were free for 8 hours, believe it or not. So we celebrate that. You know, some people celebrate that. So they kill him that exact day. You know. And it was, I thought it was, they were sending a message, you know, this is your 8 hours freedom day, so we're going to kill him in that day. And he's going to die, and he died. And nobody over there, like a few people, like a few people cared. But the majority of the people, they thought, no, great, they kill a terrorist or whatever. And that's why, like, I was so mad. So and that same day I wrote the song and I just put it over the internet, the same way I did Multiviral. And it was very difficult because, you know, we did Atrévete, and we were like, we were gonna sign a contract with an independent label at that time. And they got scared, you know, because nobody talks about it over there. Like, if you talk about the independence of Puerto Rico, you know, you're just part of the 5% of the people, so you're gonna have like the 95% against you. But it was different. Like, the people liked it in a way. It was the first time that in the barrio, I don't know how you say that. Yeah,
in the neighborhoods.
In the neighborhoods, yeah, but you know. They start listening to those kind of songs. It was the first time that happened, and I was, you know, I was happy about it. Yeah.
You released it through Puerto Rico Indie Media?
Yeah.
In terms of the, we were just talking in the prior segment about the ACLU report on the brutality of the Puerto Rico police force. That's also been a theme of your of some of your songs. Could you talk about the police in Puerto Rico and the relationships with most, especially the poor communities? Yeah.
Well, you have good cops. You have bad cops, you know, like everywhere. I have some friends that they're cops, and some of them, they're not cops. So I wrote a song about the police brutality also because one of my best friends got killed because of the police. They hit him till death, till he died. So I wrote a song, and we start giving the song for free also in front of the police station, the most important one. We didn't want it to cause trouble. We just wanted to make people aware of what is happening over there. And it was nice also to do it. Like, I'm just doing the things that every artist can do and should do, I think, you know. These topics, the social topics, they are not the only topics that we talk about. But what we talk about it is like in painting, you know, when, you know, every movement, they talk about the politics and war and everything.
According to news reports, documents provided by NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden show that both the NSA and the CIA maintained a joint operation from the U.S. Navy's old Sabana Seca base in Puerto Rico, in a suburb of San Juan. The operation there worked to intercept satellite communications with other NSA teams in Brasilia, in Bogota, in Caracas, in Mexico City, and Panama City. You've gotten very involved in this issue. In fact, you just tweeted out that you'd like to get a celebrity to donate a jet. You'd go pick up Edward Snowden and bring him to Latin America for asylum. Why is this so important to you, and what about Puerto Rico being used as a base for spying?
Well, I feel ashamed as a Puerto Rican. I don't want that to happen. They did it also with the president of Venezuela while he was flying over. He wanted to fly over Puerto Rico, and they didn't give him permission. And they did it with also
President Morales.
President Morales, yeah, he couldn't land. And
well, they forced him to land because they thought that he had Edward Snowden coming from a Russia OPEC meeting.
Yeah, and so that's why I came up with that tweet, because if I had the opportunity to help him, I help him, and I think it's very important what he's doing. For me, I'm a normal guy. Like I don't have all the information of everything about everything, but I know a few, and with only knowing this few, I just want things to change. And I think that if we can do that in the whole Latin America, and I can translate what is happening with my songs from English to Spanish, you're gonna have like a lot of. He's gonna have a lot of supporters,
Speaking of Latin America, you've increasingly been touring there, and your songs have been gathering followings there. Could you talk about the impact of the social movements in Latin America on your work and what you're hearing when you go and play before audiences there?
Well, in Latin America is a very busy continent in terms of movements and militants. That's the way you say it, militants? Yeah. Sorry about my English. Yeah, militantes. Yeah. I speak way better in Spanish. Yeah. You have you have a huge movement, student movements. Like for example, you have in Chile a real huge movement. Like in 2011. When did you have like Giorgio Jackson and Camila Vallejo? They were like on top of the student movement, and that it became viral because then you had it in Colombia against the 30 law, and then you had it in Argentina. You always have that because there is a lot of movements there with students, and then it became viral. And Latin America is right now is developing so fast that I feel great.
Rene, your band Calle 13 has won more Latin Grammys than any band, than any musical group, 19, and also won 2 Grammys. Do you face pressure not to be political because you're so successful in the commercial world?
Sometimes I just do whatever I feel. If I feel that something is wrong and I should talk about it, or if I feel about saying something, I just say it. And some people, sometimes I feel a little bit of pressure because the people come to me and they start, they send a lot of emails, talk about this issue and talk about this issue, and it's like millions of emails, at the end. But I don't feel that pressure, and we maintain a good balance, We did this with Tom Morello, and we did a song with Shakira. So it's like, that's the way to reach Shakira's kind of fans, you know.
Well, and you've gotten so popular that a few years back, the pro-colonial or pro-Commonwealth governor, Acevedo Avila, invited you to play at the Fortaleza because he said his children listen to your music all the time.
Yeah, that was like way before we got censored in Puerto Rico for 4 years. We couldn't perform over there because of ex-governor Fortuño. And, well, not the governor, but the mayor of the city of San Juan. We couldn't perform in San Juan, but it's the mayor city.
Because?
Because I said a few things in the MTV Awards. I said pretty bad words to him, but I wanted to keep the attention of a huge strike for the workers, you know, because he asked the people to vote for him, and he wasn't gonna fire anyone, and at the end he fired like 60,000 people. So I just felt that way, and I was on the MTV, so I said it, and they censored me for 4 years, and now like last year we performed there, and it was great, you know.
In the most recent song that you just put out with Julian Assange and Tom Morello, you have Spanish, you have English, you have Arabic. Talk about blending these languages.
Yeah, it was fun. At first, I didn't know how I was gonna do it. At the end, I started making a huge research of who can help us in the chorus, because I didn't want to have it all in Spanish. And I started making a research, and that way I found about Camilla Hubran, that she's from Israel, but her parents are from Palestine. So I thought it was a great mix. And I heard her voice, and she was amazing. So I contacted her, and I asked her, and she wanted to do it. And I put like a little bit of French, pas à pas, and codo a codo. So yeah, I just was trying. I wanted to put all the languages that I could. I hope that for the next song I can put more languages. Yeah.
What about the relationship between the United States and Latin America, both culturally and politically? Where do you see it going?
I don't know. You have countries like Venezuela, for example, that they're very, like, they defend their ideals, and they're very strong, a very strong country, and they are very connected. You have Brazil, that they don't feel like, they're not enemies, but they're not in favor of the things that this government do, of course. And you have Uruguay, that you have Mujica, that is great. And also he's not part of, you have Colombia, maybe Colombia is and Mexico, maybe they are more into, not the Mexicans, but the government over there. Maybe it's more into the United States, but almost every country in Latin America, they don't like that. You know, what is happening with the government and what they do.
I'd like to ask you about the future for young people in Puerto Rico, because obviously Puerto Rico over the last decade lost population because the economic situation is so bad. Many of the young people, especially when they graduate from college, are leaving, going to the United States or going to other countries. Your sense of what the future for young people on the island is with the still unresolved status issue of where what will be the permanent status of Puerto Rico?
I think there's a lot of young people. They're getting aware of what is happening and our political situation. But a lot of people, they don't care, and I feel like they are like sleeping. But it's because we have been like for 100 years a colony. And our education is, in terms of history, is just the history of the United States. Like, we don't take the history of Puerto Rico, maybe a little bit, but it's a way to make you dependiente. How you say that? Dependent. Or dependiente.
Like, dependiente, yeah.
Yeah. So I think right now it's going to be difficult if we can connect Puerto Rico with Latin America more and more and more. Maybe they wake up, you know.